The pink glitter from Ashley's Sweet 16 banner was still clinging to the concrete floor of my mother's garage when I pulled up that Tuesday afternoon. It was a garish, shimmering pink that seemed to mock the gray Tennessee sky. I had come by to drop off a few stacks of leftover blue paper plates from my son Andrew's 18th birthday party. His party had been a small affair, mostly because he had insisted on not making a fuss. "I do not need a party, Mom," he had told me, his voice already carrying that deep, quiet resonance of a young man who has spent too much time watching his mother worry about the bills. "Just a cake is fine." So we had a cake. We had cheap blue plates I had found on the clearance rack, and we had a quiet evening. But as I walked toward my mother's side door, I could not help but notice the remnants of the monarchy we had apparently just finished celebrating. My niece Ashley, Megan's daughter, had just turned 16, and apparently a 16-year-old's birthday requires the kind of infrastructure usually reserved for a small music festival. My mother opened the door before I could even knock, wearing that bright, practiced smile that she uses whenever she knows she is about to be caught in a lie. The air in her kitchen was thick with the scent of high-end lemon cleaner and the ghost of expensive catering. I am a project manager for a construction firm in Murfreesboro. My brain is hardwired to count things. I do not see a room, I see square footage and material costs. I saw 2 unopened cases of premium sparkling water tucked under the island. I saw 3 professional-grade silver warming trays stacked by the sink, still greasy from whatever gourmet spread had been served. And then I saw the box from the high-end bakery downtown, the kind of place where a single cupcake costs more than a gallon of gas. My mother saw my gaze linger on the debris of the celebration. "Do not start," she said, her voice light but warned. "That was all for Ashley. You know how important those milestones are." I placed the cheap blue plates on her granite countertop. "Andrew turned 18 last Saturday," I said. I kept my voice neutral, the way I do when a contractor tells me the concrete pour is going to be 3 days late. My mother did not even flinch. She just reached for a floral patterned dish towel. "I know, honey. He got your card, did not he?" I picked out a very nice one with a bird on it. I felt a cold sensation start at the base of my skull. "He got a gas station gift card," I said, "and $25 in cash." She finally looked at me, her eyes flashing with a brief moment of defensiveness before settling back into that reasonable mask she wears. "We are just a little tight right now, Jean. Things have been difficult." My mouth went dry. My hands felt cold. I was the one being gaslit, and yet my body was reacting as if I were the aggressor. "The party for Ashley cost how much, Mom?" I asked. She sighed a long, weary sound. "It was a milestone, Jean. Do not do this." "How much?" I repeated. She looked away. Megan needed help. She has had a hard year with the divorce. I already knew the number. Trace, my cousin, who can never keep a secret, had told me at the party while she was 3 drinks in. $22,000. My mother had paid for the DJ, the catering, and the venue rental. The DJ alone had been $4,000. And here she was telling me that for her grandson's entry into adulthood, all she could muster was a $25 bill and a card with a bird on it. "I understand," I said, and I meant it. For the first time in 6 years, I understood everything. My phone buzzed in my pocket. It was the first of the month. My automated bank transfer alert. Transfer $4,100 to parents. Every single month. For 6 years. I did not say another word to her. I did not yell. I did not cry. I just picked up my empty box, walked to my car, and before I even put the key in the ignition, I opened my banking app. I found the recurring payment labeled Family Support, and I hit the button to deactivate it. The silence in the car after that click was the loudest thing I have ever heard. I am Jen. I am 38 years old. I live in a modest apartment in Murfreesboro, Tennessee. I spend my days managing men who build skyscrapers, and my nights trying to be a mother who does not let her own exhaustion bleed onto her son. And for 6 years, I had been the silent architect of my parents' lifestyle. My son's father is the kind of man who likes the title of dad, but does not like the associated costs or schedules. He has been a ghost since Andrew was 10. The last time Andrew saw him was a 45-minute lunch in March 2024 that ended with a promise of child support that never arrived. I have been the one holding the line, and my parents were supposed to be my backup, but the help they provided always came with strings that felt more like razor wire. When Andrew was 8, I lost my job during a massive corporate downsizing. I asked my parents if they could cover 1 month of his after-school care so I could go on interviews without dragging a second grader to an office park. My mother looked at me as if I were asking for her right lung. "We will find something," she said, "but you really need to be more responsible, Jean." I remember Andrew sitting at their kitchen table, coloring in a book he had outgrown, hearing his grandmother talk about him as if he were an unexpected bill from the utility company. They gave me $400 that one time, and for the next 12 months, every time I bought a cup of coffee or a new pair of shoes for work, my mother would make a little comment. "Must be nice to have that kind of extra cash," she would say. When my sister Megan got divorced, the bank of Mom and Dad didn't just open, it flooded. New furniture, an expensive lawyer, a new start, a deposit on a luxury apartment. My mother called it support. When I asked why it was different for her than it was for me, my father just shrugged. "Megan has it harder," he said. "She is sensitive." That was the family code. Megan is sensitive. Megan needs help. Megan is complicated. My life was always framed as a series of choices I had made to be difficult, as if I had chosen to be the one who did not need their money, so I could purposefully inconvenience them. By the time Andrew was 12, I was making good money again. I was exhausted, but I was stable. That is when the script flipped. My mother called me crying, saying the property taxes had gone up. Then it was my father's back. Then it was a dental emergency. Then it was some vague, unexpected expense that they could not explain but absolutely needed to be covered. The first time I sent money, it was $800. My mother wept on the phone, telling me I was her angel. A month later, she called again. They were just so tight. I sent 1,000. It became a pattern so slowly that I didn't even notice the temperature rising. By year 2, it was $2,500. By year 3, it had reached $4,100, and it just stayed there. It became automatic. It became my rent for being the good daughter. No one else in the family knew. Not Megan, who was busy spending my mother's money on Ashley's dance lessons, not my cousins, not even Andrew, because my parents were proud. They did not want to look like they needed their daughter. They wanted to appear as if they were handling their golden years with grace, while I was the one working 50 hours a week to fund the illusion. I told myself it was temporary. I told myself that once Dad's back was better, or once they refinanced the house, I could stop. But the house was never refinanced, and the back never stayed better for long. And meanwhile, Andrew learned to shrink. He stopped asking to have friends over because Grandma gets stressed. He stopped mentioning class trips because it is a lot of money. He learned the difference between what we could afford and what we were allowed to afford. One night when he was 14, he found me at the kitchen table at 3 a.m, staring at a spreadsheet. He didn't ask what I was doing. He just put a blanket over my shoulders and asked if I was okay. I lied and said I was just working. He looked at me with eyes that were far too old for his face and said, "We need to help Grandma and Grandpa again, don't we?" That word, again, felt like a punch. I realized then that my son was paying for my parents' lifestyle too, just in a different currency. The first month after I stopped the transfer was May 2025. I remember the date because Andrew had his finals and I was closing out a massive project. May 1st came and went. No call. May 2nd was silent. By May 11th, I started to feel something I had not felt in years. I felt space. My bank account stayed at its normal level. I didn't have to move money from my savings to cover my own groceries. On the evening of May 12th, the phone finally rang. It was 8:43 p.m. I was on the couch with Andrew. He was eating ramen and watching a video on his phone. I went into my bedroom and closed the door before I answered. "Hello, Mom," I said. There was a long pause. It was not a warm silence. It was the silence of a predator trying to figure out where the prey went. "Did you change something with your bank?" she asked. Her voice was sharp. I did not play dumb. "Yes," I said. "Why?" I sat on the edge of my bed. My voice was steady. "I stopped the monthly transfer." Another silence. Then her tone softened into that sugary manipulation she is famous for. "Oh, Jean, we depend on that." "I know," I said. Her voice sharpened again instantly. "Then why would you stop it without saying a word?" I almost laughed. Not because it was funny, but because the audacity was breathtaking. "You didn't notice for 11 days, Mom," I pointed out. She snapped back. "We have been busy." "I am sure you have," I said. $22,000 worth of busy." She inhaled sharply. "I didn't mean that." "It is what you said," I replied. "You told me you were tight. You told me you couldn't afford a gift for Andrew's 18th birthday. And yet you had $22,000 for a party." She tried to pivot. "Your father has been under so much stress." "And my son?" I asked. "What about his stress?" "He got a $25 gas card for his 18th birthday, while you paid $4,000 for a DJ." She let out an exasperated noise. "Oh my God, are you still on that?" I looked at the walls of my bedroom. It was quiet. It was mine. "Yes," I said, "I am still on that." Her voice turned ice cold. "That party was not just for Ashley. The whole family was there." "So was Andrew's birthday," I said. "It was in our apartment, with a cake and your card." She sighed, as if I were being the most exhausting person on earth. "Jean, you know Megan's situation." There it was, the situation, the magical phrase that excuses everything. "I want a concrete answer, Mom," I said. "Where has my money been going for the last 6 years?" "How dare you?" she hissed. "How dare I ask?" I repeated. "After nearly $300,000, I think I have the right to ask for a receipt." She tried to make it a moral failing on my part. "We are your parents, and I have been paying you like I am your landlord," I said. "Do not be dramatic," she snapped. "I am not being dramatic," I said. "Send me a breakdown. Utilities, taxes, medical bills, everything for the last 12 months." She laughed a short, offended sound. "No." That was the moment I knew I was done. "Okay," I said. "Jean, do not punish us because you are upset about a birthday card," she scrambled. "Punish?" I asked. "No, Mom, I am just tight." The silence stretched until she hung up. I didn't wait for her to call back. I opened my laptop and started a folder titled Parent Transfers. I downloaded 6 years of bank statements. It was a rhythmic, consistent pulse. 4,100. 4,100. June 2019. July 2019. April 2025. I highlighted the total at the bottom of the sheet. $295,200. I stared at that number until my eyes burned. Then I went through my old text messages. September 2021. Mom. Just for a little bit, honey, we will stabilize. February 2023. Mom. Do not tell Megan, she will feel bad. June 2024. Dad. You are a good daughter. We are proud of you. The pride always came after the deposit. My father called the next morning at 7:16 a.m. I answered immediately. "Hello, Dad." His voice was shaking. "Jean, what is going on?" "I stopped the transfer," I said. He took a long breath. "We didn't know it was permanent. It has been monthly for 6 years," I reminded him. He sounded so small. "Your mother said you were okay with helping." I was okay with helping when it was help, I said. Now I need answers. He tried to sound reasonable, but I could hear the panic under the surface. Your mother is very upset. I am sure she is, I said. Then I asked the question I had been avoiding for years. Dad, how much did the party really cost? He hesitated. That is not my department. I sighed. Trace told me $22,000. My father's voice became thin. Megan was counting on it. And Andrew? I asked. Was he counting on anything? There was a long silence. You know we love Andrew, he finally said. I am not arguing that, I said. But love is not a $25 gas card. Another silence. Then he tried to negotiate. We can do a smaller amount, maybe half. No, I said. Not until I see a breakdown and a plan. His voice went up a pitch. Jean, please, we will lose the house. What mortgage is $4,100 a month? I asked. He didn't answer. Send me the breakdown by Friday, I said. If you cannot, then that tells me everything I need to know. He started to talk over me, and I just ended the call. Then I texted Megan. I didn't accuse her. I just asked a question. Hey, did Mom and Dad ever mention that I have been sending them $4,000 a month for 6 years? The typing bubbles appeared and disappeared. Then she replied, What? Why would you do that? I felt my throat tighten. Because they asked me to, I replied. They said you were in an emergency. I was just checking. We will talk later. I didn't want to fight Megan. I wanted the truth to be out in the open, where it couldn't hide behind sensitivity anymore. My parents didn't send a breakdown by Friday. Instead, my mother sent a text that sounded like a corporate memo. We do not need to justify our finances to our children, she wrote. Family helps family. Please restart the transfer. I looked at that text and felt something settle in my chest. This was not a misunderstanding. This was entitlement. On Saturday morning, they showed up at my apartment. No call, no warning. Andrew was in the kitchen eating cereal when he heard the knock. I opened the door and saw them both standing in the hallway, looking like a coordinated strike team. My mother had her church face on. My father had red eyes, as if he had been crying in the car. We need to talk, my mother said. Can we talk right here? I asked. I didn't move from the doorway. My mother's smile twisted. Do not do this in the hallway, Jean. Then you should not have come without asking, I said. My father's voice cracked. Jean, please. Andrew walked up behind me, tazon in hand. He is 18 now. He is taller than me. He has calm, observant eyes. My mother saw him and immediately shifted her tone. Hello, honey, she said, reaching for her grandmotherly mask. Andrew just said hi. My mother tried to push past me into the apartment. I stood my ground. We are not doing a big drama, I said. Say what you came to say. Her jaw tightened. You humiliated us, she said. By stopping my money? I asked. My father whispered, We didn't know you were keeping track. I looked at him. You didn't know I would stop. That is the difference. My mother snapped, You are being cruel. And then Andrew did something that made my heart ache. He set his bowl on the entry table and said very quietly, Can I ask a question? My mother brightened. Of course, honey. Andrew looked at her. Why did you spend $22,000 on Ashley's birthday and give me $25,000? My mother's face went completely still. My father's mouth opened and closed like a fish. That is not fair, Andrew, my mother finally said. It is not the same thing. Andrew nodded once. Okay, he said. He didn't yell, he didn't plead. He just looked finished. My mother turned to me, her voice rising. You put this in his head. He has his own head, I said. My father started talking fast. We love you both. We made a mistake. Can we fix it? What is the plan, Dad? I asked. What? He stammered. What is the plan to live without my money? Because you clearly built your entire life around it. My mother hissed. You are acting like we stole from you. I looked her right in the eye. You did, I said. Her eyes flashed. How dare you? Show me the numbers, I said. My father's shoulders slumped. He rubbed his face with both hands. It was mostly credit cards, he said. My mother turned on him. Frank! But he kept going as if the truth finally had some weight. The house and the car, and your mother likes to keep things nice. My mother's face turned bright red. Andrew's voice was calm. You used my mom's money for credit cards? He asked. My mother snapped at him. This is adult business. Andrew didn't flinch. It became my business when you showed me how little I mattered, he said. That sentence landed like a bomb. A neighbor's door opened a crack and then shut again. My mother's voice went even higher. So what? You were just going to cut us off after everything we have done for you? Yes, I said. One clean word, no speech. My mother stared as if she couldn't process the syllable. My father started crying, really crying. It took 12 minutes from the time they arrived for the total collapse. I noticed because I was still counting. I am sorry, he choked out. I didn't know it was this bad. My mother turned on him. Do not you dare. My father looked at me with wet eyes. Please, we will lose everything. Then sell something, I said. Sell the car, sell the warming trays. My mother's hands were shaking. This is about revenge, isn't it? No, I said. This is about me paying for my son's life instead of your image. My father took a step forward. Just one more month. Give us time. I opened my phone and showed them a drafted email. I had already written it in my notes app. Subject: Termination of financial support. The transfers ended on May 1st, 2025. Total sent since 2019, $295,200. Please provide a budget and a debt summary within 10 days. Any future assistance will be through direct payment of essential bills only after documentation is provided. Do not come to my home unannounced again. I didn't read it like a drama. I read it like a project manager. My mother's mouth fell open. You wrote a contract? She asked. I wrote a boundary, I said. My father looked like he was going to collapse. Andrew stepped closer to me, not aggressive, but protective. My mother's face twisted. You are turning him against us. Andrew spoke before I could. You did that yourselves. My mother's eyes went wide. After everything I sacrificed, I cut her off. Leave, I said. I was perfectly calm. She didn't move. My father was still shaking. Leave now, or I am calling the rental office to document that you are refusing to exit the premises, I said. That was the irreversible step. No shouting, just a paper trail. My mother grabbed my father's arm. Fine, she said. She turned to Andrew. Happy birthday, I guess. Andrew didn't respond. He just stood there with his shoulders squared, like a man who was learning what self-respect felt like. When they finally left, my father looked back once and whispered, I'm sorry. I closed the door. I locked it. Then I sent that email to both of them, and carbon-copied Megan. I attached the last 6 years of bank statements. The receipts folder was complete. The first week after that was strange. My body felt like it was waiting for a car crash that never happened. Then June 1st arrived. My account balance didn't move. I saw the numbers stay where they were supposed to be, and I started to cry in my kitchen while Andrew made toast. He didn't ask me to explain. He just put a plate in front of me and said, Eat something, Mom. 3 days later, I paid off my own credit card in one click. The one I had been carrying just in case. Then I opened a savings account labeled Andrew's College, and I transferred $2,000 into it. He saw the notification on my laptop. Is that for me? He asked. Yes, I said. It always should have been. Peace came back in small scenes. Andrew laughed out loud at a movie and didn't look guilty for being loud. We went grocery shopping, and I bought the name-brand cereal without doing mental math like a hostage negotiator. On the 4th of July, we went to a baseball game. Cheap seats, hot dogs, nothing fancy. Andrew leaned back and said, "This is nice." It should not have felt like a radical act to enjoy my own money. My parents tried one last tactic on the 9th. My mother left a cake on my doorstep. No note, just a box and a ribbon. Andrew looked at it and asked, "Is this an apology or a bribe?" I took a photo of it for my folder, and then I took it to the trash chute. My mother called that night, crying those soft, controlled tears. "I do not even know who you are anymore," she said. I replied uniformly, "I am the same person, Mom. I am just not participating in this subscription anymore." She tried the classic line, "We are family." I told her access to me is not a family right. It is a privilege. She went silent. Then she said, "Your father is depressed." "I am sorry to hear that," I said, and I meant it. "He should see a therapist. I am not restarting the transfer." Her voice hardened. "So you are really going to let us drown?" "No," I said. "I am going to let you live in reality." The next day, my father sent an email. It was the first honest thing he had sent in years. A list of debts, a budget, a confession that they had been covering Megan's rent, too. A note that my mother had been using cards to keep up appearances with her social circle. It was not a full apology, but it was a start. I responded with one paragraph. "I will not send cash. I will consider paying one essential bill directly after seeing proof of a payment plan for the rest. Do not involve Andrew in adult guilt. Do not show up unannounced." That boundary held because I had learned something ugly but useful. If someone can take nearly $300,000 from you in silence, they do not see you as a person. They see you as a solution. My son is 18 now. He is applying for scholarships. He stands taller. He speaks clearer. He does not shrink anymore. And neither do I. Love does not require auditions, and support should not come with a gag order. If a relationship only works when you are paying for the privilege of being treated decently, it is not a family. It is a subscription. I canceled mine. And for the first time in my life, I can finally afford to breathe.